Well, looks like we got a pretty. I hadn't watched this video yet, and so I stopped, and we're gonna watch it together, and I'm gonna do a react to it. But a message to the Diablo 4 team from a heartbroken fan. Can we just get like a zoom in real quick of oh, this is sad. It's a sad, sad situation. Come on, you piece of junk. How about y'all? You got Hawg. Thanks for stopping by. So look, we all know D4 is a sad shit show right now. I'm dying to see what Rax is about to say here. Real quick, let's hear from this video sponsor. Thank you to boot.dev for sponsoring this video. I've been using boot.dev for going on 3 months now, and I'll tell you, it's the easiest way that I've ever found to learn back-end web development for Python and Go. I'm currently working on a Python lesson, and boot.dev has included an ARPG game as a learning example. Personally, this is the best way for me to apply what I've learned and actually retain and understand it in a practical setting. Associating learning code with game examples keeps me engaged in the lesson. Naturally, you can't learn to code without writing code, and boot.dev provides fun and engaging lessons with real-world problem examples. Boot.dev even has an AI assistant, Boots, who can assist you through an issue you're having. Go to boot.dev and try out the courses for free. Then use my code HOG to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Thank you to boot.dev for sponsoring this video, and now, back at it. All right, let's get a dip of backer here, and let's see what he's going to say.
I've never missed a Diablo 4 start before. Hi everyone, it's Rax. I woke up this morning and had every intention of playing Diablo 4 Season 9. I've never missed a Diablo 4 start before. And as I was sitting there ready to firing up, thinking about it, I realized that Diablo 4, it's no secret, has not been super fun to me lately. This
trash
season doesn't seem to change a whole lot. And I found myself actually being pretty sad. Pretty sad because, you know, I think if you took the entire landscape of anybody who plays Diablo, I'm someone who's pretty far up there as being one of its biggest fans, not just from the nostalgia, but I, started my streaming career and content creation career off of covering the Diablo games. So it's not even just about the money or the views, the clicks or anything like that. It used to be one of my very favorite franchises. And so I thought, another thing is when I do.
This is, it's kind of hurts. Because, of course I experienced this like a month into the game, but like, same thing. You have a channel made on Diablo, you got a community made on Diablo, and like you had something special there, and then all of a sudden this fucking steaming pile of garbage comes out, and everything is just, it ain't the same as it was. Thanks, D4. Thanks for fucking
do stream these games, and rightfully so. I'm not criticizing my audience for this, and also I play into it as well. It turns into a giant ball of negativity of everyone just cracking jokes about powers and we hear you, and well, I get it. It's the reality. So it's honestly not even so much of a joke anymore.
Yeah,
but I thought what I would do instead,
they've made this,
I would make a very like heart-to-heart video, not even like for the fans or for the viewers, but this is a video that I would send to Blizzard, and I'm not gonna use any curse words. I'm not gonna like drive the stake through their heart, but I am gonna be brutally honest about the things that I think are going wrong or have gone wrong with Diablo 4. And I saw this tweet from Adam Fletcher after the last campfire.
I had a blistering response to this thing here. This is the most, y'all, I'm just sorry to pause it. This man's talking about fucking cupcakes and shit. we have people that are. I mean, I guess maybe the ship sailed on people being pissed off at this point, but like, I'm still fucking annoyed every time I see this absolute fucking joke of a show that's called Diablo 4 that goes on. Um, I live to drop off cakes. Like, dude, it's so corporate. It's so sanitary. It's just fucking lame. It's like L7 weenie. That's like, look at this.
And it says, I haven't been present as much. I have a lot of items behind the scenes that he's managing, but within those are big plans. Just know that your war cries of wanting more change aren't going unnoticed. The team has been cooking on some of the biggest changes that really hit home on things that people have been asking for and more. We will share more as we get closer. Love you all. Okay. So
No.
a lot of people are immediately going to roll.
Yeah, that's what we call fluff and bullshit and corporate PR talk and set up to buy the expansion that's coming out probably Q1 of next year. Please buy the expansion. What I want to know is if you hear us and you're working so hard and all this shit, like why is it taking you so long to do this? Why does GGG and EHG put out these massive fucking patches and these massive updates and leagues and all this, and every time you do something, it's a new rebranded power.
Roll their eyes at this and say cringe. This is what they always say. This is just we hear you again. Blizzard has lost you forever. Fine. I like Adam. I met him in Seattle. I like a lot of the people on the Diablo 4 team as people. I cannot identify for you what the exact problem is. People say it's not the developers, it's the people higher up. It's they don't have any talent anymore.
It's everything.
Their direction has changed a million times.
It's the entire culture at Blizzard. That's the problem. It's not one specific solitary thing. It's the entire culture at that place is just a fucking pimple filled with uncool fucking grossness. I don't even know what to describe. But you can see it in the people. You can see it in the shit that they come up with. You can see it in the way that they talk about their games. It's just, if you compare it to the other video game companies that we follow, the overall culture where this used to be a badass community, they're just lame as fuck. Every single solitary one of them. And to point out a specific problem with this company is when you hire someone that checks a lot of boxes and their credentials equal that of you worked on a board game, which just the person in the center there, Aislinn, I think her name is, worked on a board game, made a board game before she was on Diablo. So how is that, how does that qualify you? Like, that's a small taste. So if it's like that there, what's it like in the whole culture? These are also the same people, the same company that was stealing Tita milk and had a huge culture of sexual harassment. So I think that's the underlying problem. It's not, yeah, of course it's the devs, it's the managers, but it's not just one thing that needs to be fixed. It's the entire culture at Blizzard. The entire Blizzard has become a fucking cesspool is what it is.
I've heard every theory under the sun 1,000 times. I'll be honest with you, I don't really care what the reason is. I just want it to be fixed. So
yeah.
We're gonna go into paint and we're gonna dive into some of the core issues.
Bring it up.
I'm just gonna be brutally honest here. Real quick.
I'm dying for this. I
Crimson
can't
Market, been doing this for 2 years, has a beautiful PC, custom PC that they built that we're drawing on Saturday. If you want to win this beautiful PC,
gorgeous,
for free, link will be down below. Use the golden ticket. Literally says free with the golden ticket right here if you've never entered these sweepstakes before. Worldwide delivery. Someone won in China, couldn't deliver it. They drove the computer on a plane next to them, flew to China. And
didn't drive it, but yeah, they delivered
it. Video and the pictures are on Discord. If you want to win this PC, the link will be down below. Okay, now here we go. It's time to use.
It's about to get brutal.
Let's talk about Diablo 4. So in ARPGs, the thing that probably hooks me the most, and I get again, I'm just gonna talk to you from me. Like, I've spent a lot of time trying
Me.
to speak for the people. You want to know who I can speak for with 100% certainty? Me.
Me. That's
So I'm
right.
going to speak for me.
That's right.
And if you guys agree with it, awesome. Thumbs up it. If you don't agree with it, you can thumbs down me. You can post on
Well, that's too damn bad, Grandpa.
forums and talk shit about me. Or you could, make a constructive comment and say what you don't like. But I'm going to speak for me here. So if I'm talking to Blizzard, the main reason why I keep playing these games is for dopamine. I want whenever a super god rare item or rune drops on the ground to feel like $1,000,000. It is not an exaggeration to tell you, I never have this feeling in Diablo 4. The practical
The look there was so diabolical. Can I get that back? Let's see. Back. Come on, rewind. Can we get it? Here it comes. I never have this in Diablo. Come on. Here it comes. Yeah, there it is. Boom. I never have this in D4.
like practically never. It just doesn't happen. So then I asked myself, what is supposed to be the dopamine in Diablo 4? Well, you could argue it's getting a mythic unique, but getting a mythic unique is very, very easy because you can craft one, whichever one you want yourself, and you.
This is funny to me because during the campfire chat, there was somebody during the Q&A that asked about a pity system because they hadn't found a mythic in like 150 hours. And then, see, I hadn't played since last time I played this cesspool of an ARPG, if that's what you want to call it, was when I dressed up as a clown. And because I bought Vessel of Hatred, because I myself have been playing since 2000. And so I just personally wasn't ready to break my streak of not buying a expansion or a Diablo game since the year 2000. But I felt so bad about it that I dressed up as a fucking clown. Now, it turned out to be a great stream, but that's how bad I felt for giving them money. I hadn't played since season 2 before then. Like, the game is fucking garbage. And I just want to say early in the video here, because this will probably be a long ass video, that I applaud this man for not logging in. Because that's probably the biggest thing that everybody can do, which it's already done now because it's July 1st. But if you don't log into the game, you tell them without logging in, like you tell them with the absence of your login that you don't enjoy that. And there's so many people out there and content creators out there and all that log into the game because of selfish reasons or whatever. And it's just nice to see probably one of the biggest ARPG creators not log in for selfish reasons. Very easy for him to log in for selfish reasons and say, I'm logging into this today because I'm the Diablo 4 man. But he sent such a big wake up call, maybe. And maybe not, but in my opinion, he did by doing this. And this is what everybody needed to do, is not log the fuck in and not give them any more money, because they have the ability and the means and the team and the budget to fix this game like that, but they won't do it.
You can just do the boss ladder and they will drop. You'll get them. It's just brute force doing kind of a tedious task. I know you guys have iterated on this and tried to make it better. Like I'm not ignoring that. But other than that, like, what is it? Finding a 3 or a 4 greater affix legendary, or an ancestral unique. Like, I get it. Like, from where Diablo started, you're trying to implement the dopamine. Like, it's been attempted to be put in there, but it doesn't feel like that for me. That compared to dropping a bear rune or a jaw rune or an arachnid mesh or anything like that in Diablo 2 is not comparable at all in any way for me. The thing that I really
I think this is another problem that us as a community as a whole, I don't, this is just hot take. I don't think ARPGs are ever going to be as good as Diablo 2. Why? Because that was a magical time where we weren't exposed to today. It was if you understand, you understand. It was a magical time to where, dude, you had 8-player parties all farming the same boss over and over and over and over again. 40, 50, 60 bail runs in a row. Not even blink. Because you all knew that arachnid mesh could drop. And you all have to compete to try to click that one arachnid mesh. If you tried to make a game like that today, everybody would fucking riot. I mean, the landscape of the audience is different. The attention span's different. The instant gratification demand is there. If you were to make people actually have to farm for something on an extended period of time, like trying to find a jaw rune, a natural jaw rune drop. See, people don't want, I mean, a lot of people don't want to trade nowadays either. Whereas back in the day, you didn't mind trading. You didn't mind having a big guild. You also had all those things available to you, where now is that's all been trimmed out of the game. So you miss a lot of that. Excuse me. I talked with Rax the other night. And we were playing some stuff off stream, and we were talking about Diablo 3 and 150s and how they like accidentally made the best fucking support and I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. That like you had support characters and you had two others that did other, like you had roles in a 4-man 150, and that was like accidentally created, and they didn't replicate that because they didn't even know about it. So I think that you're never going to get that same thing in D2. You're never going to get the feeling of farming Mephisto over and over and getting an Oculus drop, like getting Littlest Wall or getting a Stone of Jordan. Like you're not going to, it's just my opinion, but I don't think that we're ever going to get that ever again, just because of the time period that we were at.
need you to do is come up with a system where there are some god tier items that actually just you're playing the game and you're not quite sure if it will drop, but man, if it does, it just completely transforms your experience. I actually think you had a better system on the launch of the game, just with a very bad implementation. The idea that these super rare mythic uniques exist. Now, granted, the mythic uniques had like these huge rolls on them, like 50 to 100, and they were like 1 in a billion chance to drop. That like it can't be that I have to play 10,000 years. That was like actually a figure. You have to play 10,000 years to get one drop. Like it can't be that rare. But like if you're blasting for multiple seasons, maybe you find one kind of rare.
Yeah,
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and see that I feel like they had that in the beginning of the game with Shaco, and then they fucked it up with Shaco Gate. God damn it! See, they had Shaco Gate where they messed up, and everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people got a Shaco. Like Shacos were dropping like crazy. If you played on the launch of the game, you'll remember everybody wanted a Shaco, but they were so rare, and that's how it should have been. I'm kind of out of the loop now with it. I hadn't played to know all this craft and all this shit because the game's just still, fucking doo-doo to me. But I felt like in the beginning, like to me, all they had to do was kind of fix. Well, excuse me, they had a lot to do, but in the beginning of the game, they could have fixed some just very simple issues and then worked on it from there. The game would have probably been a way better state than it is today.
Sense. I was initially going to do this whole thing where, I'll just play until I get one of these uber uniques just to see if I can get one. But then I did the math on it, and I'm actually never going to get one. So The dopamine is not there for me in the items at all. It's one of the main reasons why I play ARPGs. Let's talk about the characters in combination with the skill tree.
Before he talks about the characters, I just want to touch on the items as well. When the game first came out, I thought the aspect system was kind of cool, but the more that I played, it's it's a common theme in the game. It feels like doing chores. You know what I'm talking about? When your mom would come in and be like, go take the trash out and go rake the yard and go do this and go do that and go do the. That's what I feel like we're doing. I hate having to go around to all these different dungeons in the open world and find these aspects, beat the boss in order to make my build do something like that. Just, I don't know. I get what they were trying to do with that, but I hate that shit too. Anyway.
In combination with the Paragon board, with theory crafting a build, and the crafting in the game. I guess let me start with the last part. Let's go with the crafting. When I actually started thinking about it, crafting has actually never really been a big part of the Diablo franchise. So I can't needle you too hard for this because the Diablo 2 succeeded without too much crafting. You just have the Heraldric Cube. It doesn't do that much. You put some runes in an order, and then it makes an item. That's pretty basic here. But the crafting system.
But for 20 years ago, that was pretty. It's pretty revolutionary. I mean, they should have expanded. I think the ball was dropped on that into Diablo 3, but you had ways to, I guess you wouldn't really make something out of thin air, but you could modify shit a little bit. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Systems that we currently have, the tempering and the masterworking and the re-rolling a single stat, that doesn't feel very good to me compared to some of the other systems that we have in other ARPG twits. I'm going to try my best to not bring them into this discussion. I want to talk about Diablo 4 in a vacuum here. But the other crafting systems that other games are making are actually taking it far beyond just these really basic and sometimes infuriating systems that we currently have. I think it really needs to change. I think this is one of those things where you've got to sit down and see what ideas the team has and try to implement a real.
I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, they ain't got none. They ain't got any. And that's why they constantly sit there during the campfire chat and they say, if you have any ideas, let us know. And then if you try to give them ideas in the Twitch chat, they'll ban you for giving them ideas.
Crafting system into Diablo 4 that's fun and engaging to use. The characters with the skill tree, with the Paragon board, essentially lead to almost no theory crafting. The example that I love to give is you got a bunch of people. If you took me and Rob and Woody and Macro and Boiler and Snail and everybody else, you took us all and you gave us some random class and some random archetype. You gave us a sorcerer with fireball. You had us theory craft an end game character. Think about the pieces there. Well, when you're buffing up Fireball, we already know you have choice A or choice B. And then in the Paragon board, you're locked to like 5 boards. So we just got to calculate, which of the 5 boards gives us the most damage is usually what you're going for. And then the key passive should be pretty obvious. Maybe there's 1 or 2 on which one that you pick.
Yeah,
you see where I'm going with this?
It's the skill tree. When the game first released, I thought the Paragon board was kind of cool, but it's so lacking because of the little tiny. It's been so long, but the little attribute steps that you got to take to get to one of those areas to unlock the whatever the fucking thing is. You know what I mean? And you know the thing. The skill tree which is where, in other games we get most of our powers from, is an absolute complete fucking joke after 9 seasons. After 9 seasons, there has not been a rework of the skill tree at all. You couldn't have added, in 9 fucking seasons, you couldn't have added a little separate branch and give us one extra thing, one extra modifier in 9 seasons. And we're to believe that they hear us open your wallet next winter and buy the expansion, because we're going to dangle another thing out in front of you. It'll probably be something we didn't ask for. It'll be like the new character in the class will be like Monkey Fish Frog or something, and shoots rainbows out of his ass, and that they won't expand anything.
And then there's like the fireball staff, and there's like the fireball gloves. The idea here is if you gave us 1 hour each to theory craft this build, it would be nearly identical. That's because there aren't pieces there within your systems to actually theory craft something different. And I would consider this a major flaw of the game.
Well, they said, so the reason that it's fucked like this is, first of all, the systems designer, the systems head, or whoever is from a board game, number one. Number two is I listened to a little interview that person had after the campfire chat, and they were talking about they look at items as a way to define your build, which is a huge mistake. It's a philosophical mistake. It's not, I mean, items should enhance your build. Items should, like, do things to modify, but it shouldn't make your whole build, because that's what makes shit fucking boring, is everybody going to do the same thing with that. Shouldn't make your build.
Blizzard has like explicitly said this, or behind closed doors, that they want to make Diablo 4 very accessible, even for people that don't know ARPGs. So when you make this kind of straight linear path of how you build essentially like the correct version of the Fireball Sorcerer, you have killed a lot of the creativity, a lot of the things that a lot of the people love to do to make these crazy melee builds that are supposed to be caster builds, but the melee version actually works very well. I need you to build at least pieces of these systems that allow for creativity, that allow for expansion, that allow for ideas here.
You know who does this real well? Last Epoch. And everyone that tried Last Epoch like a year and a half is going to go in the comments and be like, Last Epoch's mechanic systems are not that. Go play Last Epoch from yesterday. If you ain't played it yesterday, then go play it. It owns this game. Owns it. For a casual or a normie to a casual ARPG enjoyer that enjoys a traditional ARPG experience with this extra stuff that Rax is talking about here, you can be like Miss Hawg. She plays the shit out of it and loves it. She doesn't look at guides. She doesn't know how to build this stuff. She does. I mean, I was looking at her build the other day. I'm not going to correct her stuff, but like, she's not using optimized stuff. She doesn't know. That's fine. But guess what? She's at the point she's killing harbingers. So how does Last Epoch do that to where a guy like me, even Rax plays it, Gazzy plays it? Like, there's a bunch of guys that love ARPGs that are more advanced ARPG players that enjoy playing Last Epoch, but then there's people like my old lady that play that are brand new to stuff like that. So how does Last Epoch do it so well, but Diablo 4 can't do that? That's the big question that I have. It really makes me scratch my head. As a tiny indie studio do it, and you, like, I don't want to say invent the genre because people get mad when I say that, but like, you basically invented the genre. Why can't you do it?
Because there aren't very many ideas that we can do with the pieces in Diablo 4. It makes the game stale. It makes the game repetitive. What's the difference between if you had played Fireball 4 seasons ago and if you play it now? Maybe you added one unique for that archetype, and that's it. This is the problem and why the game gets so stale. For the end game, the problem with the end game, someone said this on the last campfire chat and everyone started laughing. He said, I missed most of the campfire. What color is the Helltide this season? And it's funny, it's a good joke, but
But
it's
it's
also
true.
kind of what happens. It's always just, hey, corruption has taken over this zone. There's spots of this zone with a circle with an event. It's always the same thing.
It's lame.
What
It's
ideas
fucking
do
lame.
you guys have? I would love to see you guys do very, very different things.
All right, so I just want to use this as an opportunity to point out why this is scary when we hear GGG. And I know everyone's going to say this GGG, it's different, but just understand me for a second. This is why it scares me when I hear GGG say it's no longer based on content. The leagues are not based on content. It's based on the date. So if the content's not ready for the date, we ship it and we'll put it in later or whatever. This is exactly what Blizzard does. And this is the result. So it's, I'm not saying that GGG can't do that, but this is what scares me about the statement like that is this is what we got right here is they have a very limited time. And so they do the safe thing and they remake the same shit over and over because it's almost like making a YouTube video. Everybody knows certain creators that just repeat the same shit over and over and over. It's not anybody in our sphere really, but you watch YouTube enough, it's the same video formula over and over and over again because it works and it gets clicks and it gets views and it gets growth and it gets subs. And that's why Diablo 4 does it, because it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of scary thinking outside the box, doesn't take a lot of risks. It doesn't take a lot of engine modification. It doesn't take a lot of programming changes. And I think that's a lot of the big thing too. But you notice that we don't see any of the old faces that we used to see anymore. And that doesn't mean anything behind the scenes as far as all their programming goes. But it's just very weird to see the senior guys that we're used to seeing. We don't see them anymore. And instead we see all these brand new faces that look like they're straight out of school. One guy looks like he's straight out of his mom's basement. And that tells me is that they probably don't know how to fix the fucking issues. They probably can't fix the code and shit that's in here. And then on top of that, and then now I'm going to hit play and stop rambling. It also makes me wonder, to add to all of that, why there was an hour-long credits, because majority of the game was outsourced, and they probably don't have the fucking ability to fix the game like they want it to, unless they outsource it to somebody and charge you for it.
And I think maybe you feel like your hand got caught in the cookie jar here, because a lot of the things that you have tried, people have really not liked. The Gauntlet, people didn't really like that. The Abattoir of Zir, people didn't really like that. And I understand how, like, after doing that a couple of times, you're like, let's just go with Orange Sherbet Helltide this time and we'll be fine. But we can't go that way. We need to see what you guys can actually come up with that is more than just corruption and a new kind of monster, and there's an event that gives you a resource that you spend at a vendor with 20 rank. I mean, it's always the same thing. This ties directly into the seasons. This is probably the thing that's the most self-explanatory. Every season is powers. Powers, I would imagine, as a game developer, I don't develop games, but I would imagine as a game developer has got to be like the easiest, quick, slap it into the game as a season thing that you could possibly do. Okay, well, let's give them this explosion, or, oh, we have all these bosses that do these attacks. We have all those attacks coded. Let's just put that attack into a gem, tune the numbers, and we have ourselves.
That's exactly what they're doing.
I don't know how big of a team you guys have. I don't know what the budget is.
Honestly, I'm wondering. I mean, this is how bad it is. And this could be just Hawg being wild, but I'm wondering if there's a single actual developer on their team that can actually write code? Like, I'm wondering that, like like, I, I don't know. You've worked at, people that worked at enough corporate places will know, but like some of these corporate places and shit, they don't actually make their own shit. They buy it from a supplier and like slap their fucking name on it. Is that what's happening at Diablo 4? Like, are they actually people there that know how to write code, or is it just a bunch of people like we see on the campfire chat that sit around in a meeting and talk about what does fun look like to everybody, or what's some ideas, or maybe they're just rolling around in breast milk until it's time, like a week before the fucking. I think about Zoolander and the gasoline fight. This is what I think happens at Blizzard right here. Like the fucking Zoolander shit going on. They're just having a massive fucking gasoline fight, and then all of a sudden, a week before the season comes out, they have to hurry up and think about something like playtime's over. Let's hurry up, throw some shit together. But I'm really wondering if there's anybody that can actually make a game there, if it's all just outsourced and they got to tell somebody what they want. I don't know. Like why is this random guy in New York that's there, that's sitting on a toilet in the bathroom talking about stuff? Like, I don't get
how
it.
the structure is, but I mean, you guys
shut up, Hawg.
The internet has been roasting you pretty hard for Powers, Austin Powers, da 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 da. But the seasons they've got to be different. They've got to be different ideas.
Oh, we hear you, Rex.
Different ways.
We hear your war cry.
To really hook people in.
Now, please open your wallet and buy our expansion.
Any demographic out there, the casuals, the blasters, anything in between is enticed to come in for another season of Powers. You've got to do something different every single time, otherwise it gets stale. One very common complaint, which I think is extremely valid, is the content in the game versus paid updates. Like we're expecting in the expansion, and I get it, the Diablo 4 is a for-profit company. And I just saw this is no laughing matter here, but I just saw that Microsoft just posted that there's tons of layoffs coming, and even for the gaming department. I'm not sure if anyone on the Diablo 4 team.
You ready? People are gonna get mad. No, they don't need to lose their job. The entire team at Diablo 4, the entire motherfucking team needs to be laid off. The entire team. If you're bad at your job, you should face consequences. The entire team, because the entire game is fucking garbage, which I know there's about to be a whole bunch of, well, it was one of the greatest selling fucking games and all this. Metallica's Saint Anger album sold a lot of copies, but it's a dog fucking shit album. You know. Anybody that worked on Saint Anger should be fucking fired, just like anybody that has anything to do with this fucking garbage game should be fired. Sorry. So if they need to do some layoffs, this is where to start and get some people in here that care.
Will be affected.
Not sorry.
It's never a joke when people are losing their jobs. So it sounds like, well, I mean, hearing that, hopefully it's unaffected, but it sounds like if anything, we're going to be losing people working on the game, and
it's never a good thing for somebody to lose their job. But at the same time, if you have a bunch of shitty people that are doing a shitty fucking job and they're not making the results for whatever reason it may be, because they're lazy or they're too worried about their head up their own ass, or they're virtue signaling, or they're just incompetent, or whatever it may be, you don't belong in that position. So I think sometimes we get, yeah, it sucks if somebody loses their job, but if you're bad at your job, then you don't need to do that job. If you're a police officer and you're power hungry and you don't do your job, you're not helping people, you're just a piece of shit, you should lose your job. If you're a doctor that's nonstop killing people on the operating table because you're incompetent and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, because you were a dentist, you pulled teeth out of people's head, now you got hired to work at um, I don't know, United Healthcare being the top surgeon that's doing brain surgery, you should be fired from that job. So while I do sympathize with people losing their job, and that does suck, if you're shitty at your fucking job, you should be fired or laid off from your job and replaced with somebody that deserves that job. That's where I'm at with that.
The bottom line for all these companies is it's always about money. But the level of trickled in content that we're getting in between the expansions is really not enough. And it's not even that. It's not even just the content that you're trickling in. It's also the content that people just expect to be in the game that isn't in the game. Diablo is not in the game. And I'm sure the plan is
sell him back.
When Mephisto came out in the expansion,
Yeah.
it was like split into multiple arcs. So it could be sold as separate expansions. Like it was like you took this story of like the primevals and you divided it up in as many slices as you possibly could.
Yeah.
And now you're going to spoon feed it into to us.
Yeah. I have been screaming this from the top of the heavens for like 6 months now. They will sell you at least 3. We've already had Vessel of Hatred. Mephisto was Lord of Hatred. So anybody that's played Diablo for a long time can see the writing on the wall right there. The next expansion, I'm willing to bet my left nut on it almost. The next expansion will be like Vessel of Destruction, and there'll be Baal. And we'll get some kind of class. We're not going to get Paladin yet, I don't think. They're going to wait and sell that back to you with Vessel of Terror, which is where Diablo will be. Having Lilith and shit and this Blessed Mother and all this fucking garbage, it didn't make any sense. In Diablo 2, Lilith was a side piece that you beat on the way to Uber Tristram. That's it. Side piece. And now all of a sudden she's the mother of fucking sacrament and all this shit because the books say so. Well, I'm an ARPG player. I don't fucking read books. But I listen to the lore of Diablo 2 and none of this shit, and Diablo 3, none of this shit they got going on makes any sense. None of it. But that is the most corporate, disgusting. It's got Rod Ferguson fucking written all over it. Is they sit down, instead of thinking about how can we build a great game, they think about how can we farm these people for money. And that's why you heard my fucking parody the other day. Farming for money is what we do. It's what we saw them with a cookbook. We will probably see a TV show or a movie come out of this sometime. That's what they're doing. It's so corporatized. It's so fucking polluted. They're not worried about making a good game. They're worried about making money. It is the ultimate corporate shit that you've ever seen. That's all it is. Money. They don't care if they make a good game. They honestly don't care that Rax is making this video. Do you think Rod Ferguson gives two shit? If you went to Rod Ferguson and said, Rax made a video, he has almost 500,000 subs. Rax made a new video saying the game sucks, he's not playing it. Rod Ferguson probably go, that sucks. He doesn't care. Because he's like a, he's like a salvager that pulls up on a shipwreck. He's just there to just get every piece of little thing that he can get out of it before it dismantles. And we're watching it in real time.
Over the expansions, we don't have the cow level. We don't have leaderboards or the ladder.
Y'all remember when they were joking about the cow level being in there?
I mean, I don't know my history here, but in ARPGs, didn't you invent the race to 99 on Battle? Didn't you invent it? And then leaderboards are part of the, I think if I saw it correctly on the roadmap that you released, it's part of the expansion, the second expansion even. You guys invented it. It was you. What happened?
Not even that, Rax. How about they brought leaderboards in for that one league and then took them away? They don't even understand, and I know a lot of y'all in the comments aren't going to understand either, and that's fine. Excuse me. Leaderboards, for a lot of people, keep player engagement. And if it doesn't for you, that's fine. But for me and for a bunch of other people, that's what kept us playing Diablo 3. season 25, 26, 27, some of 28. Really wasn't a big fan of 28, but just chasing the leaderboard kept us playing for months and added a whole nother social aspect to the game. 4-player leaderboards, oh my God, enabled people to actually care about the clan system and actually have a community on Discord around your game and actually give a shit. Same thing went with PvP, but it's really more a leaderboard within some kind of farmable in-game activity. They could have nightmare dungeons or a pit with a leaderboard, and that would be good. That would be good enough for some people, but they don't even have that. And so there's nothing to chase. And I think that's what the whole thing boils down to. If you were to just take it into AI and ask what's boil it all down, it would say there's nothing to chase. Period. Doesn't matter if it's items, doesn't matter if it's in game, doesn't matter. There's nothing to fucking chase. There's no achievements. There's no, like in Diablo 3, there was set dungeons to where you could go, beat the certain set dungeon with these conditions met. You would get a piece of cosmetics that nobody else could just go buy. You had to earn that. That's missing from the game completely. Like little things like that add up to keep retention and make people play and have fun in the game. All that's completely missing.
No Diablo, no Cal level. The Mephisto thing is behind a paywall, and we fought Mephisto's dog, etc. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And Diablo 4, in a lot of ways, it's starting to feel to me like Diablo 4 is feeling like Diablo Immortal. It feels like a mega cash grab, and that feels very bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get the idea there. The balance and the bugs. You want to know? People always.
Can I just say I'm sorry? Do you know how good it feels? I've been saying this shit since July after the game came out. A month and a half after the game came out, I've been saying all of this shit. Do you know how good it feels now to finally have the biggest fucking Diablo creator to have him make a video and say the same shit now? That feels fucking good. Just gonna say, finally, thank you. Somebody stands up, has some fucking balls not to play the season and to make a video and say, your game fucking sucks. Thank you.
Always ask me about how are they going to balance this or that. Everything is crazy. It's always the same thing every season. I think Blizzard, I'm going to invent a new challenge, right? There was the Ice Bucket Challenge. There was the Tide Pod Challenge where people were eating laundry.
Tide Pod Challenge,
that, but I have a new challenge. It's called the 1 million challenge. I think that the Diablo 4 team needs to do a gigantic pass, and I know we've been redoing.
Now, Rax, hold on a second. The Diablo 4 team doesn't believe in challenges because someone can get their feelings hurt and might not win.
All the different systems. I need you to do a gigantic pass on every single skill, every combination, all the mythic uniques on all the characters. And I don't want a single skill to do more than 1 million damage. And the idea behind that, like whether it's a balance thing or a bug thing, it's got to pass both tests. And the idea behind that is if you could get it somewhere around that level, then you could attempt to balance the game. Every single game, it's like you're on a waterbed, or you're like in the lazy river in Oceans of Fun. We're going up and down and up and down and up and down all the time. But Blizzard, you can't balance anything when there are skills that hit with like 3 extra zeros at the end of their attack versus other skills. It's impossible. How do you balance anything like that? So I have the 1 million challenge where
1
nothing hits for harder than
million
a million, and then you could like balance the game.
It's too much work for them,
I
though,
don't
dude.
want to hit for trillions.
They don't want to work. They want to sit there and go, we can't wait to play this. So much fun. They have a template They don't want to do any of this shit. That means they've got to stop their gasoline fight and do actual work. They don't want to do that shit. They want to sit around and talk about how much fun they're having and sit in their toilet.
Billions, quadrillions, literally the infinite symbol in one of Rob's videos. And then so many things are plagued with bugs, game-breaking bugs that last for season after season after season. Number one example, Bulwark Druid. How long did Bulwark Druid? How many from release to the preseason 1 and season 2? Which season did it get fixed in? We'd have to ask Boiler. Like stuff.
Why
like
are we
that.
still playing that too? Like, why has that not been updated to something else? This is the other problem. Every time I watch anything about this game, especially the Druid, it's always the same build every fucking time. Every time.
We need a serious pass at how much damage we're all doing. You kind of did something this season where you crucified overpower. Said overpower is overpowered. You changed the formula. It's like way worse now. And a lot of people
delete the shit out of the game.
I was like, I can't believe you guys are complaining. This is step 1 of 50 toward our 1 million challenge to where we can actually balance the game. And then the final thing, the target audience.
I'm sorry. I've said this in the beginning. Delete fucking vulnerable and delete the overpower. It's fucking stupid. Delete the lucky hit. I don't know if that's still in there or not. Like, delete that shit out of there. You say you're making a game for casuals, and then you add literally fucking stupid shit in there like that. And I'm sorry, if I'm looking at any kind of build or anything, the way vulnerability worked and the way the game came out, I know they fixed that now, but like, anything that was vulnerable took 20% more damage. Okay, well, everything is going to be vulnerable. Then stupid ass shit like that. Like, even some dumbass like me can see that immediately. Like, this is that just locks everything out. Everything needs to be vulnerable. Delete the shit out of the game and make something else that's cool, makes sense.
And this goes back to something that we talked about earlier. I understand that everything is about money. And I understand that the way that you make money is you sell copies of Diablo 4 and then you sell battle passes and you sell cosmetics in the shop. And I understand that one of the best ways to do that is with new player acquisition. And then with new player acquisition, the thing that gets them hooked in playing is being able to play the game, have it being very simple and having it, everything be smooth sailing. But when you design your game so heavily under that path, you have, I think, the number one demographic that you have lost the most. And I bet we can get some comments down below that sound off on exactly this idea, because I'm it as well. I'm part of it. Some of your biggest fans just don't see the original Diablo franchise, the essence of it in this game. I'm not seeing it.
I've played the game since 1 week after the release of Diablo 2 Original in 2000. I bought the game 1 week after release. I was in 8th grade. This game is not a Diablo game. It is Lilith 1. I've said that since July of 2004 or whenever the fuck the game came out. 1 month after that game came out, maybe a month and a half, I started saying this shit. I guess it's been 2 years. So what, 2023? This ain't a Diablo game. We were warned by another developer that used to work there that they were going to farm us for nostalgia, which they have done. None of the game makes sense. And they have alienated the core Diablo fan base so much that most of the people that are left playing the game this is their first ARPG. They have no idea. To me, it feels like they're trying now to get rid of us completely because we're too vocal. And now all they want to do is farm the people that don't even interact with this side. They don't watch Twitch or YouTube or anything for their video game information. They're just, they log in for 5 minutes on a Saturday night, walk around and log out. I don't know.
I see it as something moving more toward Diablo Immortal. And man, I miss the original Diablo. Do you guys remember that
Diablo
you
Immortal
were
had
the
Diablo.
kings of ARPGs? You guys made
Blizzard
Diablo
North
and Diablo 2.
no,
You guys made
no, they didn't. No, these fools did not make the name of Blizzard. Yeah, these people didn't make this shit. Blizzard North made this shit. David Brevik made this shit. Long gone. And that's another thing that we hold on to. Blizzard did this, and Blizzard, the current Blizzard that we know now ain't done. The only thing they've done is Diablo 4. That's what they've done, period. They ain't made D2. They didn't make D1. And I hope they won't touch any of those games. I hope they won't try to put their nasty ass hands on D2R, D2 and Resurrect, or just leave all that shit alone and just continue to fuck up the game that you have now. But no, the people that we have working there now, they could never dream of making Diablo 2. Ever. Never. In a million
World
years.
of Warcraft. You guys made StarCraft. You guys were gaming royalty.
Yeah, not anymore.
And it's because you made these game-breaking games for gamers, not for people that kind of game but will pop in, buy the game, and buy the battle pass. Not saying that diehard gamers don't buy those things. They do. But it seems like the shift has been a huge marketing push for money. And it seems like it's been at the expense of the essence of Diablo 4.
That's what the entire game is made for.
I am not saying these things from hate. They are not empty insults. It's how I actually feel, and I'm making this video because I care. I would love it if we could get back on track. People are gonna roast me so hard, saying the dude is so pathetic. He still believes in Diablo 4. He's still making this content. He's a 40-year-old piece of shit. Like that's
Well, we are 40-year-old pieces of shit, but you know how this is the other thing that I'm starting to stutter. They don't realize is we're the ones that care, not the normies, not the people that have a normal life with a job and like they're not pieces of shit and like they don't hate themselves and shit. Like those people, like they can actually read and like, have a real life and shit. Like those people don't care like we do. So they might play the game. I got something in my eye or something. Excuse me. They might play the game a little bit and then they're done. But the other side, if you make them happy, they'll be loyal. I mean, look at the people in PoE. I know some people that spent like $10,000 in that game, supporting the game. Why wouldn't you, to me, if you're a smart businessman, why wouldn't you try to get the loyal, rabid fans that would piss all their money away on you if you made the good game and just focus on making the good game versus trying to go farm a bunch of, I don't even know the analogy for it, but it's just like going to the giant school of fish, a bunch of cod, and there's zillions of them, but they don't give a fuck about what you got. You just might get some to come eat, or you can go, I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say, god damn it, but they're fucking up all over the place. They're making every single solitary wrong decision that you possibly can make, and alienating the target audience from ARPGs is not the way to go. Looking outside of ARPGs towards like the Call of Duty marketplace is not the way to go, because those people are not the ones that are your long-term supporters, like me, Rax, the other guys that have played this game for 20 years. When you piss us off, that's when we just won't support you anymore. And then eventually you won't have a game. And then everyone's going to come back to it's the best selling game ever. You don't know what you're talking about, Hawg. They don't need your opinion. Whatever.
I know how the internet works. I've been around here for a long time. But I would really, really love it if Diablo 4 in general on a lot of these major things would go in a different direction, would go in, it needs to be a new direction, an inspired direction, but something with the essence about what the Diablo franchise and what the Blizzard of old used to be about. And I think if that happens, I think the morale and the favor of Diablo 4 will go up. So I don't know. That's it, guys. That's the end of the video. I don't think I'm going to log into Diablo 4 Season 9. I don't really want to play. There's nothing I'm looking forward to playing. I don't want to create this big negative environment where we just roast Diablo 4 as we play it for a day and then quit, and it's my fault. I cultivate it, so I'm blaming myself.
It's so much fun, though.
Viewers.
It's
so
so much fun.
It's 100% on me.
It's not on you,
So
dude. No. No, that ain't on you. That's on them. All of this entire 2-year shit that we've seen is a cause and effect. The cause is Blizzard makes a shitty, fast-tracked, half-ass, cash grab, money farm, nostalgia bait, garbage, horseshit, no Diablo having, baby's first ARPG, Mickey Mouse horseshit fucking game that the horse barely even worked in and the resistances didn't work. It is not anybody's fault. Any creator, any streamer, anybody. It's nobody's fault but Blizzard's fault. That 2 years later, this is the current thoughts and sentiment and whatever about Diablo 4. It's not Rax's fault. You didn't cultivate any of that, because if you cultivated that and the game was good, you'd be getting fucking assaulted for it. No, the game is a meme. The game's a lolcow at this point. And that's just effect. Cause and effect. Cause, you made a shitty fucking game. Effect is you are now the lolcow of all ARPGs. It's that simple.
Other games. And I'm going to patiently wait to see. Adam said there's a whole new thing coming.
It's bullshit.
They have big plans and more. Okay. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear what they are.
But see, here's the thing. It's so corporate. They won't tell you anything. It's very, very corporate. Anybody that's worked for big corporate knows this is corporate horse shit. And there's a boss in the background, because everybody's had their boss behind closed doors say, we can't say that yet. We can't let them know that. This is how it is. But we all know. We all know how it is. We're not little kids anymore. We're not in 8th grade and naive and don't know. Most of us that play these games now, this is a very aging genre of games. Most of us that play this are grown as fuck men that are like 40 to 50 plus years old. We all know what this is. But the problem is that a lot of us, well, maybe not on this channel, but a lot of us keep logging in for selfish reasons, for whatever it is. And if we would all band together and stop logging in, we would force their hand to change, even if it's a 10, 12% drop. Strengths in numbers. And unfortunately, we're just not going to do that, because there's always some kind of excuse that somebody's going to come up with for some kind of selfish reason to justify them not, having a spine or something. I don't know. But I'm going to end the video with this. It's very good to see Rax actually stand up and not play the game. This is a big thing that they need to see. It's a big wake-up call. I'm proud of him. Anyway, the link's in the description below for his video. Let's see, let's just hear the end of it here.
And if you make a sincere attempt at any of these things, even if it doesn't work out for you, at least in my mind, I'll give you credit for it. Even
Yeah,
if I
that's
play
true.
it and I hate it, but you tried, I'll give you credit for it. Example, the big overpower nerf has a lot to do with this. I give you credit for that. It's got to start somewhere. People will cry. The 1 million challenge. That's what I would pose to you. All right, guys. That's
Good
it.
luck.
If you
All right. We'll see what happens. We know. Here's what we do know, though. Nothing's going to happen. They ain't going to change, and they're going to want us to buy another thing. And we probably won't even fight some real boss, or I don't know. But you bet your ass it'll be polluted, and it'll suck, and it'll be lame as fuck, and there'll be more meme content. I thought this was going to be a dead horse, but they just keep surprising me and bringing out shit we can meme on. So anyway, hit like and subscribe if you ain't already. See y'all next time.